Hey everyone, welcome to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time, available on most major podcast platforms, including YouTube. So get new and past episodes for free in the app of your choice right now. Click subscribe, hit us up. We are covering today the season 1 finale of TWD Daryl Dixon. For those of you joining us live tonight, thanks for taking time out of your evening to be here. I am your host, Tamara, and I love a good TV show and a good book. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me everywhere at the Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me tonight is show co host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey Tamara, hey everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author. I am also the founder of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. So if you would like to connect with me online, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Lisa Orban Author or at Indies United Pub.
Okay, so before we begin, we'd like to remind you that we would love your participation in this conversation. So if you are listening live on YouTube, hit us up in the comments section. If you are listening to this on a replay, you can still comment on any platform, or you can even leave us a voicemail using the link in the show notes. So if you are new to the podcast, we are laid back in our review style, right, Lisa?
Absolutely, Tamara. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Yeah, no scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around a lot. And of course, huge spoiler alert for everything, every show in the world through yesterday's episode. So if you're cool with that, this is the place for you. And let's jump right on in. Episode 6 finale. What did you think, Lisa?
I liked it.
Mm hmm.
I really did. There was a couple of moments in there that I really truly enjoyed. I will say at the very beginning, I was a little confused when I saw the soldier laying on the ground and they were yelling, Dixon, Dixon. I'm like, what is going on?
Like, what's happening? I thought that too for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I miss something? What is
Yeah.
this?
Well, and then for just a second, I thought, are we flashing forward? You know?
Yeah.
And then, because at this point, the Janae, I mean, she wants a war.
Mm hmm.
And she's got that whole World War I, World War II vibe going on there. And yeah, so for just a second, I thought, did he just get stuck there forever?
No.
you know, I mean,
No.
some weird things have happened on the show, so my
Yeah.
my mind was just trying to go, what's going on? But then we get the story, about his grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of did not feel any kind of way about the addition of the story of his grandfather. I feel like, I guess, but I know they were trying to say, repeating, you're continuing on the bad habits of your father and grandfather, right? Like, but
Leaving and
I'm
not
like,
coming back.
that's not his kid. What are we all talking about here? Like, I understand Laurent looks up to him a little bit. He's
Mm-hmm.
friendly with the child. He likes him. They like each other. I get it. But are you trying to guilt trip him or something? Like,
Yes,
Isabel, that is not his kid.
I
He
know.
has other kids he's responsible for, and he ain't it.
And here's the thing: whenever they were talking about his grandfather going away, his dad going away, etc., etc. Um, what I was thinking was not him staying there for Laurent, but part of his desire, that push to get back to
Mm-hmm.
his family,
Mm-hmm.
saying that it was a mistake for him to come here. It was a mistake for him to be away. That his whole family fell apart because he left and didn't come back.
Right.
And that was his, and I think that was his take on it. I don't want to stay here. I want to go home to my family.
Yeah, he has people. He has
Yeah.
kids he's looking out for.
And I think that was kind of that was the reason he was kind of sharing that story with her, and I think she took it the other way, but I think he was trying to tell her, no, it screwed up my life when
Mhm.
essentially because my grandfather died and it screwed up the whole family, which then screwed me up. And
Yes.
I don't want to have that happen to the people that are back home depending on me because I want to go home. You
Mhm.
know?
And I don't blame him. Like, honestly, I think that obviously we knew that they would have to find a reason for him not to go home.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I co-sign on this method. I just kind of feel like he's
Coercion?
more determined to go home instead of
Yeah.
staying.
Well, and I was really getting mad at Isabel. I'm like, let the man go. He did everything you asked him to do and more. And
Mhm.
he didn't do it because of that stupid picture or anything else. He did it because Daryl is a good guy.
Right.
But now he wants to go home. And
Right.
everyone's going, well, sometimes, you find yourself in a place. And he's like, yeah, but this isn't my place.
Right.
And he kept telling them, this isn't my place. I'm glad that you feel comfortable here. I'm glad that you're happy here. I'm glad you have found what you want here. But this is not my home.
Right. And I think that's going to be reinforced next season. Obviously, with now knowing without a doubt that Carol will be a full time cast person on this show, it's just going to remind him of home. He's
Yeah.
not going to stick around here. Maybe one more season to take out Janae, but I can't imagine that this is just going to keep going in
Yeah.
France. It's not.
Well, because for the way it sounds, the boats are far in between each other.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is he's gonna say shit, and stomp back up there and get Laurent and drag his silly little butt back to the nest. And if I were him, I would bitch at him the
Oh
whole
my god.
way.
So look, can I just say when I saw him standing on the little ledge up there
Uh huh.
and the walkers are just grazing, walking around, I'm like, how the hell did he know where to come on his own? Like he's not that smart. This kid isn't that good at tracking or anything else. How did he know where to go? Where are the adults?
Yeah.
Where how did he
Where's
come by
Isabel?
himself? Right. Like this is crazy.
I mean, Isabel shouldn't be that much further behind him unless she's there with him and we just don't see her.
I don't
Um,
understand why he got out there by himself. Like they think so highly of what he can become. I'm sure all he had to say was, "We need to bring Daryl back here,"
yeah.
as he says, and someone from the nest would have taken him. It's like it just sounds so stupid. And that whole scene at the end, Daryl's looking at him, and
Looking at
he's
the boat and looking back at the
he's
kid.
looking. Yes, and
This
I'm
is
like,
not a good look.
yeah, I'm like, you see these walkers just around. I mean, they could attack him at any moment. He had to fight himself out of there to get
Yeah.
down to the beach, but he's just standing there looking. I'm like, what is this?
What's
Why?
wrong with you, kid? And I feel for Daryl at this point because, I mean, he couldn't have made it more clear to Laurent, to Isabel, to the leader of the nest, to everyone he has talked to. Every person along the way, he has said, I need to get back to my family.
Yeah.
And I'm upset with all of them right now because none of them respected the fact that he has family that he wants to get back to because all they're focused on is Laurent and raising him to glory. You know, he's imbued with glorious purpose. Sorry, that's Loki. And
Screw your American family. You're here now. You're here to help us, and
yeah,
that's it.
well, and the leader of the nest was on that walk was really trying to persuade him. Well, sometimes you just find yourself in a place and it just it turns out that they need you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Daryl's like, I'm sorry, but my family needs me, and the fact that every single person he encountered throughout the entire episode was trying to push him to stay, and he was pushing back just as hard, saying, I am going to go.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I am able, I want to go.
Right.
The only reason I'm here right now is because I don't have a way home.
Right.
you know?
He's like, I can't get back, so I might as well help you, you know.
Right. I'm just waiting on this boat.
Yeah. I need
And
I don't
and
know.
they did, they told him about the boat as promised,
Mhm.
but then they spent the rest of the episode trying to convince him to stay. It and I understand why he didn't wake up Laurent. Laurent, because he didn't want to go through the whole thing again. Please stay. No.
Well, you saw how the kid reacted last time, right? When he
Right.
was having a cow, so he let the boat go.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh my god, I wouldn't want to wake him up either. I'd leave him a little note. Bye, kid.
Yeah. And that's what
Good
that
luck."
Rubik's Cube was. That Rubik's Cube was. That was his
Yeah.
goodbye. That was his
Yeah.
goodbye note. And and if Laurent honestly respected Daryl, he would have respected his need to go back to his family.
Yeah. I agree with you. And that's why I wish they had used something else, right, to try to pull him back other than the parental card, right? The guilt trip of abandonment card.
Yeah.
I don't think that was right. Now, yeah, so we get to learn about his grandfather. That's kind of interesting that his father was there on D-Day, but I
I mean, it was
also
kind of interesting that, I mean, because they had him at the very beginning, in the
mhm.
middle, and at the end.
Yeah. So
You
that
know,
was interesting. Although, by the way, I'm like, he's looking at these crosses, and I'm like, there's no way. There are thousands.
yeah.
Have if you've seen that a photo from that place, there are thousands. There's no way. And I said, oh, of course he finds his grandfather's. Of course he does.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know, like that kind of stuff. It's not sentimental to me because I think it's stupid. I'm like, why? There's no way he would have been out there for hours and hours and probably never found it. I don't know.
Maybe it was to give him a sense of closure on France. Um,
I mean,
and then
maybe.
the runt comes back, and I really liked the kid at the beginning of the show, but the more I've seen him, at this point, I'm just like, I'm irritated with him. I'm
Really?
just irritated with him right now.
Okay. Okay. What does he do to irritate you?
Let's see. He followed Daryl and
Yeah.
to bring him back to be, I mean, in this episode, the running away, I mean, he's escalated through the whole thing, letting the boat go.
Yeah.
Uh, the different things he's done because he
He doesn't
wants
understand. Like if he
he wants
understood,
things to be a certain way, his
yeah,
way.
but if he understood what everyone thinks he is and how much investment people are making into him, right? Because of what they think he is or can be.
Mm-hmm.
That is so why would you're risking your life
Yep.
by chasing after him. And you're not even taking one precaution by bringing one person with you. So you don't give a care. You don't care.
Like
You
I
just
said, that's
want
part of
what
the
you
reason
want.
why I'm irritated with him.
Yeah, he just wants what he wants.
Right.
And he's like, yes, he's a child, but he's not that much of a child. Like, so for example, in this episode, we saw that he had to take out his daddy, Walker daddy,
Mm-hmm.
Quinn. I knew he was gonna die. We all kind of knew he was gonna die. But
Yeah.
in that scene, you know, Isabel is holding Quinn's Walker self off, and Daryl hands him the weapon, and he's like, "Do it, help her, protect her, like do." And he's standing there, and then he's like, "God will forgive you," and then he takes care of what he needs to take
Yeah.
care of, and then later. See, it shows his intellect. Later, he's like, well, you have to do things you don't want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're smart, but not quite smart enough. It's
Right.
weird. He's in this middle place where
Well,
some
he's
things are real mature and other things are not.
intellectually he's very developed. Emotionally, he is very stunted. He doesn't, because up until this point, up until they left the monastery, everything, the entire world had revolved around him.
Mm-hmm.
Every person that he came in contact with was in awe of him, and so everything revolved around him. Kind of like
Mhm.
when he met those kids for the first time, he had no idea how to act or what to say, and they
Yeah.
could all tell that he was just not quite right.
Yeah.
And so that was his first taste of the world not revolving around him, and so by the time we get to the end of the season, he still hasn't quite figured out that the world doesn't revolve around him and his wants.
Yeah.
And he wants Daryl to stay. So as
Yeah.
far as he's concerned, Daryl should stay because adults are supposed to do what he wants.
And
You
that's
know,
it. End of story. That's
right.
it. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, like I said, if I was Daryl, I'd take the kid back. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't let him die.
Right.
But it would be a miserable trip all the way back where I would berate this kid nonstop and remind him that I have family. I have children back home that depend on me.
Mhm.
I have Judith and I have RJ and I have people that I love, such as Carol, and yada yada. And I would bombard him with every person he misses and why he misses them and how long it's been and him just wanting to go home, to
Yeah.
embed on him that sometimes you don't get what you want.
True. Although I think that would be asking a lot of Daryl's character. He has a hard time even saying if he has been in love, right?
Right. He does have trouble articulating things.
He does. He can't really get it together for some reason in that way. It's very strange. Um,
Well,
yeah.
he's always been kind of a man of few words.
Yes.
And I get it. But man, I don't think Daryl would, but I'm telling you, if I was in his place, that would be a very long trip back for Laurent. And it would
Yeah.
be a miserable trip back as I impressed upon him the stupidity of what he did and how much it hurt me. You
Well, I mean, we're not too late. That could happen. That could happen. We probably won't see it, but maybe we'll hear about it. I don't know.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it honestly, the way this character is developed this whole time, it doesn't really surprise me that it was him.
Mhm.
I mean, Isabel spent what, about 10, 15 minutes of the show just trying to get him to acknowledge that he needs to stay, and him pushing back, and getting irritated with her by the end of it. No, I'm going home.
What'd you
And
think about those scenes with him and Isabel? Like, did you get any coupling vibes? Like that they were gonna try to force some kind of relationship with
I kind
them?
of got that from her, but not him.
Mhm.
I think, she was trying, and I think what it comes down to is she was trying to tempt him in the only way she could think of.
Hmm. See, I don't know. His timing was interesting, right? But she couldn't have set that up. So, I do think she likes him, right? That's
And she wants
clear.
him to stay.
And she
So
does
she's
want him to stay. That's clear.
and
Um,
and so she was, I think it was a moment of opportunity, not a planned event.
but she's still a nun. She's a nun,
Yeah,
lady.
I know that.
I don't
I
know. I think that I wouldn't hate it honestly, but I also might hate it because outside of like that one relationship we saw with Daryl, he's never really had a real relationship. Even with when he was liking Connie, right?
Right,
We never really got an actual honest to God relationship on screen with him.
right,
Nobody but Leah, right? Wasn't that her
right.
name?
Yeah.
So, and he seems like, I mean, no shade to him, right? No shade. Maybe they just want his character to be this way, but he seems highly uncomfortable, highly unable to be in a functioning relationship. So,
Well, being in a functioning relationship requires you to, talk
yeah,
and
yeah,
and, and share and things, and those are things that Daryl has a hard time with. I mean, part of the reason that him and Carol get along so well is most of their sharing is very nonverbal.
Yeah.
It's them sitting together, with a couple of words passed. They don't have to say a lot to each other. They've never, if you think back, him and Carol have, I think the longest conversation him and Carol ever had was um, when uh, back when she still had her daughter, and she was missing, and they were looking for her.
You know
And
what? Maybe that's why he likes Connie too, because Connie can't really talk back
yeah,
except for with her hands
mm-hmm,
and paper. So he doesn't have to say a whole lot
right.
either.
It's a very nonverbal relationship. He just doesn't do real well when there's a requirement of constant input.
Yeah, so I'm like, I that's why I kind of hope that maybe they just leave it as it is, right? They let it lie. They have a friendship or whatever, and they won't pursue like any kind of relationship, anything with the two of
Yeah,
them.
I think it would be very awkward.
Yeah.
It would not quite as awkward as him and Carol, but almost.
Look, don't feed the animals. Don't feed the animals. Don't say anything about the two of
Sorry,
them.
sorry,
'Cause
sorry.
they are like siblings, people.
I know.
Siblings. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting too. I'm like, I don't know. I was feeling like they might try to do something with them, but I hope they don't. I hope they
Yeah.
leave it.
Well, and again, at this point, Daryl will be going back to the nest, but he ain't going back happy.
No.
There's not going to be warm and fuzzy feelings. And probably the first thing he's going to ask is, how could you let him leave?
Mhm.
Where were you guys? Where have you,
Mhm.
you know, it took him days to get there. It was like,
Yeah.
what was it, at least 2 days, because we know there was at least one evening where he sat in that house in the rain and the dark.
Yeah.
So was
Like
it,
again, how the hell did Laurent follow him all the way and not be attacked?
I don't know.
How? Ugh. Like it just bothers me so bad. I hope it's a hallucination of Daryl or something and it's not real, but it seemed real. Didn't it seem real?
I think it's real. Well, now I will say this: along his trek, he really didn't see that many walkers. He saw, the only ones we really saw was the one chained to the tree, and then really didn't see any more until he got to the coast, and when he started hollering for the boat, and then they, woke up essentially.
Hell, even putting the walkers aside, just the elements. He didn't have. Where did he stay overnight?
It's hard to say.
Did he know how to make a fire?
I mean, now here's the other thing that is also a possibility, and it's someone did decide to take him,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just further behind. He ran ahead.
Maybe.
So I mean, there could be a car back, a vehicle back there of some kind,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe Isabel drove him, and as soon as they got to the coast, he just bolted ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Now I could absolutely see that too,
Mm.
and then that would eliminate Wyatt, him trying to survive on his own for 2 days.
Yeah.
So, and
Well,
because I know I mean, they have transportation,
yeah, they do. I don't know.
so
Maybe they'll explain it next season. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just skip it and expect us
yeah,
to accept it. Um. Yeah. So also, I find it interesting they're making it easier and easier for Daryl not to speak French. So when they get to the nest, and of course, one of the main leaders turns out to be an American. Surprise, surprise.
right.
I mean, it was kind of fine, but I don't know. And what did he say? Daryl actually said something in French when they were cheersing at the table.
Oh, it's what was it? Blessings or something. It's a something that they said a whole bunch on the show.
Yeah,
It
I
was
don't
just
know.
it was a simple phrase that it's one of those that's repeated a lot.
It sounded weird coming out of his mouth. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, what did he say? Oh my gosh.
Enchante? No, it wasn't that.
Shantae. Shantae. I don't know.
I
Whatever
don't
it was.
remember. It was. I mean, but it didn't really strike me as odd because I had heard people say it quite a bit throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's uh just a salutary greeting or
Mm-hmm.
phrase, kind of like us saying things like "Holy cow," or whatever a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
he's being all nice and being friendly and teaching people how to use guns and cheering, cheersing at the table and like
hmm
trying to be like a part of the group. He settled in pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
I mean, he doesn't hate these people. I mean, he has nothing against them.
No.
It's not that there's anything wrong with any of these people. He just wants to go home. I mean, it's just that simple. There's no ulterior reason, and so while he's there, there's no reason why he can't be useful.
Mm-hmm.
He's not being held there as a prisoner.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, everything he's doing is very much in line with how Daryl behaves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They're like, he's such a good addition. Don't let him go.
but the point is, he wants to go home.
He will go home eventually.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see if like there's some more time jumping before the end, before he actually leaves and goes back. Because like side note, I don't know if you heard, but like they're saying that the showrunner, I didn't hear it because I didn't watch that whole thing, but they're intending to mash these shows back together eventually.
Which shows?
All of the spin-offs like Daryl Dixon, Dead City, the ones
Really?
who, yeah, they're
Okay.
intending whatever shows are remaining or don't, I don't know, don't expire and they keep going. I think they intend to mash them back together.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like The Walking Dead is gone, and then psych, we're kidding, we're back again.
Well, it's kind of gone, but we're gonna reconfigure some things.
Yeah, so whatever it is, we already know he's not going to stay there forever, right?
Right.
Maybe one more season. I can't imagine Carol going back and he not being with her, right?
Oh yeah. And honestly, I don't think she is that far behind him.
Mhm.
Uh, the end credit, right before the credits and everything, we see Carol. She's chasing the motorcycle, and she's like, "I have been looking for him," uh, which tells me that she gave him that week, maybe 2 weeks, and then she
Yeah.
was out looking for him.
She gave him the first full week. He said he would be leaving. So then
Mm-hmm.
she probably gave him another week to get back, right?
Right.
And then however long it took her a week to get there, that's 3 weeks,
Right.
and then go from there. And of
Right.
course, she's just now getting to the city limits and she's only just begun. So it wouldn't surprise me if like the whole first half of the next season is her journey there. Like they
We
won't
know
even meet up for
we
a
know it's
while.
going to be because they've already named it the Book of Carol.
Oh my gosh. So let me just say, I I am not a hater, I promise, but I do not like that subtitle.
I don't either. I'm like, you could have just left it Daryl Dixon because we know that they're going
Mhm.
to go back and forth a bit.
Mhm.
We know this.
Right.
Unless they are planning on not having Daryl in there at all until the end, which I don't see happening.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think they could have just left it Daryl Dixon.
Yeah, like why add that on there? The viewers are the fans. We already know.
We know.
We know. We don't need it. I don't know. And once she comes on this show, like honestly, the little bit at the end of the episode was good. It's like, oh,
Oh
typical
yeah.
Carol, she's back in action. This is what we expect from her character.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel that the characters that they have developed during this season are pretty good. I feel like the chemistry between them is pretty decent, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
bad. I don't feel like this show, like at the beginning, I was kind of like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how this is going to go. But at this time, I'm kind of okay with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I know once they put her in the mix, it's going to change. is
Yeah.
going to change, and hopefully for the better. But now I'm not so sure because, Lisa, I've always said Daryl's character cannot r- be like the lead of anything. He's great as an ensemble character, right?
Mhm.
And they've done that. He's a part of an ensemble perfectly when you could tell he slightly has the lead, but he's not the lead.
Right.
But it's going to change drastically because Carol's personality is big.
Yeah. Well, unless she's trying to be the housewife and
No,
give little
hell
kids
no.
cookies.
I'm coming. I'm rescuing you, Daryl. I'm here. I'm here. You're safe now.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be meek and cook in the kitchen at the nest. Hell no. Hell
I'm just,
no.
I mean, she can't. I'm just saying she can't be meek. It's all a ploy, but she can.
There's no one for her to kill here.
Yeah. Well, there is Jenny.
Janae. Yeah, but Daryl should take care of her. I feel like if she comes, well, I guess she can come and help him do that. But at this point, I kind of want to see Daryl do it, especially now that he's got like some unlikely help, right?
Right. Well, I will say at this point, at the by the time we get to next season and we watch Carol's journey, it's going to match up pretty close with his journey across France and getting to the nest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's there's almost a small part of me that goes, Carol's on that boat.
She might be.
you know, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
there is a not a big chance, but there is a slim chance that she is on that boat. But if they do that, then that means that Daryl can't come back on until the very end of the series, or at least
Mm-hmm.
middle, so they
Mm-hmm.
can give her chance to travel. But at this right now, their journeys are paralleling each other fairly closely.
They're gonna be flipping back and forth because I if they choose to do that where we don't see Daryl for a couple of episodes, I think that's going to be bad. I don't
Yeah.
think that that will change the flow of the show. And I can see them flip flopping every episode or maybe during the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Things have just gotten a lot more complicated.
Yeah. Well, and because we know, I mean, walking it takes a while. We know that getting from where they were to this to the nest was what was it, a day's walk, and we know that they spent several nights on the boat, and we know that they were at least one day in the Citadel, and then there's many days traveling. So at this point, and we don't know how long he's been at the nest waiting for a boat either.
But it's also possible because Carol is coming with purpose, she may find a different way. And it's possible she may not go the same route because Daryl, he washed ashore there.
Yeah.
That wasn't the intending landing point.
No, she's gonna land. She's gonna land probably somewhere near where Janine's at. Jenny is at, because she's gonna find out where that boat went.
Yeah, I agree. She's gonna probably come right into the mix of it if she's smart or close
Yeah.
to it. She's not gonna be wandering around. Or she could find the people that have the route that Daryl was gonna take, which is a little bit of skipping around
Mm-hmm.
before he got back to the States.
Yeah. Well, that's why I
Um,
said there's the
yeah.
chance that she's. That's why I said there's a chance she's on that boat, because that would be that would be the route.
And he's waving at the boat. He's like, bye, I'm going back. She's like, he's
although,
there. He's right there.
although Carol, you know, Carol knows Daryl. If she is on that boat and she saw him turn back, and she sees she sees a kid up on the cliff hollering
Mm-hmm.
for him, she'll know.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, crap. Fine,
Mm-hmm.
we'll save the kid.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah, my guess is that she's again not far behind him.
Yeah, probably not. Not too far. And we don't really know, again, the timing's kind of gray, right? We don't really know how long they were at the nest before he left? Just a couple days, a week and a half, I guess.
We don't know
We don't
because we know
know.
that
It's
those
kind of gray.
because the one guy even Daryl said something about the boats don't come off and
Mhm.
no every few months or so. So he could have been waiting there a month already.
Yeah, he could have.
We don't know.
Yeah.
They were showing him. I mean, and they were showing him very involved. He was peeling potatoes and doing drills and this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. But so I mean, he could have been there a few days. He could have been there a month.
Yeah, totally. So, what did you think? Okay, so the I can't remember the guy's name who was so angry at Daryl, he wanted him dead cuz for killing his brother.
Right.
I have to say that scene kind of threw me for a loop only because, when he lets them go,
Mm-hmm.
this is why. So I understood him not wanting to kill a child. Most people have limits and the limit is I'm not going to kill a kid, right?
Right.
So I understood that. But if you wanted him dead so bad, why not just kill him and let everyone else go or a couple of them go? Like I couldn't quite get his entire about face on the issue. Like
My
obviously,
my guess
this
is
yeah.
is looking at this kid and two nuns. He probably realizes even though the nest isn't technically all that far on their own, they're not going to make it without him.
Oh, so it's kind of like they need him to get there, so
Yeah.
I'll let it go.
Right.
Mm.
I'll let you do your thing, but as soon as you're out, if I find you,
Mhm.
game on.
Mhm.
That would be my guess. I could be wrong, but he knows that Isabel was a nun. He
Mhm.
knows the other. I can't remember the girl's name now, but knew that she was a nun. So because he had been to that monastery before, he's aware of who these two are.
Yeah, yeah.
So and not wanting to kill this kid, knowing that they're not all that well prepared for this world would be my guess. Is he let Daryl live just to get the kid to where he needed to be?
Mhm. Maybe. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll take that. Because I'm like, why he was so angry? Why wouldn't he kill him? Like or try to, right?
Yeah.
Even if he didn't want to kill the child, why wouldn't he try? But,
Well, and he even made it clear to Daryl, this is a temporary
he
piece,
said till next time.
until next time.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish what you started. I'll let you take this kid to where he needs to be. But if I see you again, you know,
Although he knows exactly where he is, right?
yeah.
He knows exactly where he is.
Of course, now
And
he's,
yeah,
under the tender care of mercies of Janine, or Jenny,
Janae.
Janae.
That's what I say, Janae. Who knows who's right? Who knows? Whatever.
Well,
The
every
mean
time we
lady.
say Janae, all I can think of is Forrest Gump. I love you, Janae.
Oh, it kind of does sound like that a little bit. A
It
little
does.
bit.
It's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Because every time we say it, then I've got different Forrest Gump things going through my head. Life is like a box of chocolate.
Lord, there's no chocolate in this world.
Yeah, I know. Shrimp scampi, shrimp gumbo. No, I'm just saying. All
Right.
right, this is what's going through my head every time we say her name. It's a circus up in here.
Do you think that her story about like working at the museum or whatever, do you think that matters at all? Were they just trying to give us some information about her or
Probably. I mean, they a little backhanded information because we
mhm.
really don't know much about her.
Mhm.
Um, we don't. They never really talk about her origins or where she came from or anything else.
Mhm.
And it's not like in this whole upside down world, it's not like what you were in your past life has a lot of bearing on who you are today.
Mhm.
Daryl's a great example of that. If the zombie apocalypse had never happened, Daryl would probably be dead at this point,
Possibly.
just because of the things that him and his brother had been up to.
Mhm.
That they were living a very dangerous life.
Dead or
It's
in jail? He'd be in jail
yeah,
with his brother.
but I mean, in some ways, his life was more dangerous before.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, and so I mean, he's gone from that to being someone who's respected and has a place of authority if he wants it, and has a place where he belongs, which he didn't have before. So he's a great example. There's so Janae, you know it, her starting off working at the museum at night, you know maybe my humble beginnings. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but we've had a lot of people that have risen to leadership that had very menial jobs prior to the apocalypse.
Right. Well, hmm.
Carol started off as an abused housewife, so she has come a long
Oh
way,
my gosh.
baby.
I think she gets the award for the most transformation, the biggest transformation of like what you were before to now. Like she was so meek and
Timid and afraid,
yeah.
and now look at her. She is the badass of the show. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hands down. I mean, beyond Daryl, beyond Rick, beyond Michonne even. She,
Well, Michonne came on the scene as a badass with the
well,
two
yeah,
headless walkers.
well, yeah, there's that. But no, I
Yeah.
mean, Carol, this transformation that she has gone
Armless.
from one to the other is
Hmm.
just the biggest change of any character we've ever had on here,
Yeah.
and I like it. And again, she's another one of those characters where the apocalypse was good for her.
Hmm.
Because if she had stayed in that relationship with the person she was with, he probably would have killed her already.
Oh yeah, she would be gone.
So
It'd be a different show, right? They they got the source material right. They pulled the right things and changed the right things.
yeah,
They were pretty successful overall with The Walking Dead.
yeah,
But the question is going forward, how do they manage these shows and manage to bring them back together where they're actually still good? I mean, because these shows are so different, right? They're
yeah.
so different.
I at this point, I'm just gonna follow the ride, and I'm
Yeah.
not, because if they start to twine them back up, it won't be for a while yet, at least until 2025.
Yeah, maybe even later. So we know we've got season two of Daryl Dixon, and we've got season two of Dead City
Right.
to contend with, which I don't even think they've started that. I don't think.
And then we've got the ones who live.
Which
Which
is no one is saying. I feel like it should be a one season, honestly, one and done. That's
right.
my 2 cents. And they could take those characters and reincorporate them elsewhere if they want to.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, they could roll them into Dead City at that point.
They probably could. And who knows what else they have planned. So just those shows that I'm aware of now. So we've got at least maybe 2 years.
Right. So I'm not going to worry about it,
Yeah.
because I mean, we know that AMC has made a lot of grand plans that have fallen through.
Anything could change.
Anything could change.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm just not going to sweat it. It's just not worth it.
So speaking of changes, so with New York Comic Con being happening what last week,
Mhm.
we got a lot of reveals. A lot of
Yeah.
reveals. So let's start with the most recent or most the thing that's coming first, which is Fear the Walking Dead, the final episodes. We've seen some clips, we've seen some teasers. I so again there is
That's
a
not his name.
Oh,
Sorry.
so okay, so if we think about the time that has passed between the end of season 7 and then season 8, what do we say? Like 7 years?
Yeah.
So in 7 years, Victor Strand has transformed himself into someone else who speaks German fluently.
Was it German?
I thought it was German. What do you
Okay.
think he was speaking?
Honestly, I don't remember. I was it sounded almost like a Creole to me.
Hmm. I don't know. We'll find out. That's what my first instinct was. I'm like, is he speaking German? What is this? What
Well,
I don't know.
the I mean, and I could be very wrong. It's just, but that area, Creole would be, you know, would be right
Well, that
there.
doesn't mean anything in this day and age
It
because
doesn't.
everyone's migrating around trying to find someplace safe. I don't think that means anything.
That's true. But yeah. So anyway, speaking of foreign language, anyway.
Yeah. So, and of course, that scene was awesome. He sees Madison and he is shocked to see her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I thought I lost you. And he hugs her and it's like, oh. And then he pushes her away and start act like he don't know her. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, typical Victor. Oh my God.
I know. And then she's looking at him and she's like, that is not his name. His name is Victor. Yeah. Victor Strand.
I feel like we're in for some shenanigans, some Victor shenanigans, and
Oh
I'm gonna be
yeah.
laughing. I feel like it might be funny.
It might be.
I don't think they want it to be funny, but I think it might be funny. It's funny now.
I thought the scene was, as soon as she's like, that is not his name.
Hmm.
And all I could think of it was like first graders. I'm gonna tell mom that's not right.
Yeah, she's like, what? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we'll see. So, and then we also just saw the little sneak peek of Dwight and
Dwight.
Sherry.
That's right.
And,
Poor Dwight can't catch a break.
yeah, yeah. So they are still together
Well, maybe.
ish. I mean, they're working together if
They're,
nothing else. Who knows if their
exactly.
relationship together, but I know they originally broke up. Seemed like they
Right.
broke up,
Well, and
but
it seemed like it was Sherry and yeah, the nurse. The two of them came to Dwight. That
mhm,
they weren't, because they were. He's like, well, how's that my problem? Well, she's made it our problem, and now we want to make it your problem.
they're going to get back together.
Yeah, maybe they're
They
better off
are.
apart though.
They are. We talked about that. They are better apart, but I don't
Anyway.
know. It's weird. So we know June is there then. We've seen all the cast photos, all the usual
Mm-hmm.
suspects we expect, plus one from Throwback, which everyone kind of knew.
Mm-hmm.
This character Troy is like the villain. He's trying to like because he's mad at Madison. So
Man, I gotta tell you,
yeah,
that's gotta be a bad grudge to hold in the apocalypse and travel across the country to, extract vengeance on a dead woman.
he's
I'm
like,
just saying, okay?
she's alive. I'm gonna kill her.
I'm just saying, all right?
She's alive after all. I have to fix that. That's what he's saying.
Because I have been mad at people in my life.
Yeah.
I have never been so mad that I was gonna trek my happy ass halfway across the country to extract my vengeance.
Look, who said it was logical?
Okay, so
Nobody said it made any sense, but that's what they're going with.
I mean, kudos to him for being able to hold on to a grudge that tight for that long. But
Yeah. I don't
because
know. We'll see.
it's been what at this point, what 14 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time because, yeah, it's been a long time. Like maybe 14 years, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's crazy. It
that,
doesn't make much sense, but whatever, I guess.
that is a long time to hold a grudge that tight.
So, do you think, like, some people are ruminating over the idea that maybe Alicia will make an appearance at the end?
I've heard the rumors. There's been innuendo. We've seen her hand be thrown down
Mm-hmm.
in one of the little, tidbits. Um, there's, either she is dead. Um, someone was telling me, I heard a rumor somewhere that she survived and she was pregnant, or she had a
Pregnant.
kid, or not pregnant, but she had a kid, and she was wandering the wasteland with this kid.
Who's the
With
daddy?
Uh, what's his name? The one that died at the very beginning. It,
What? No.
I know. This is I'm saying. They went back to that kid that was in with the watch and in the car. Him. That part of the reason that she was so sick this whole time was she was pregnant.
No.
I
That
I am
sounds like
not kidding. I'm just telling. I am relating the rumors. I am
that.
not saying they're true.
eh,
I am relating the rumors.
You tell whoever said that that is the dumbest
It
ish
was
I ever heard.
it was something online. It was YouTuber, one of the speculators.
I think that's awful. I don't think that's even close. Whoever that was missed the mark. There's no way.
I'm just saying that
Yeah.
that was the whole take on it. That the reason that she had been so sick and it was taking her so long to heal was she was actually pregnant and yada yada yada. And after they all left, at some point she had the baby and the
Well,
two of them were
her baby will be the cure because she was walking around bit and almost died. So her
mm-hmm,
baby's the real cure.
exactly. So
I don't mean that, y'all. She's not pregnant. I don't
I'm
believe
just
it.
saying. All right, that was one of those out there ones I've heard.
Well, I don't know because we never saw her die.
Die, right?
So anything is possible. It wouldn't entirely shock me if she brings her scary looking self. She might still be looking crazy,
Yeah,
just more older, but she might like never really recover. She might always be like in poor health,
right.
and she just comes stumbling back around to meet her mother.
You know, but if you remember when after everyone had left and she scuttled off into the sunset, she actually looked better than she had in weeks.
Mm-hmm.
She no longer looked quite like the Walking Dead. She, they all left and basically she straightened up and she started walking, in a straight line and stuff. And I'm like, well, now that's just weird.
You know what? And if they did bring her back, that Saint X show that she left for, that thing, it was like a one season thing. If she doesn't have a job, she might come back.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate for, her to find her mom. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that would
hate
be a
it.
happy ending, right? It started with them, let it end with them.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't, her and Strand and Madison. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't hate it either.
I wouldn't hate it.
Oh, I hope so. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff that I've heard. I haven't heard anything else though. I don't know. Maybe I've missed some things, but that's kind of. But I guess we'll see. It starts next weekend. So
Yeah. I'm all
yeah.
excited.
So we also got some tidbits about the ones who live.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I love the gear that Michonne is wearing.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm like, look at her. She a badass.
Modern samurai soldier.
Yeah,
I
she
gotta,
is.
I gotta tell you, it really does um remind me a little bit of some of the stuff that she wore from the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
The Wakanda wear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially one of them that looked like more like armor.
Uh
Like,
huh.
yeah,
I mean, not exact, but I mean that feel was there.
she's the soldier. Well, I guess we'll figure out what happened when she went off with that group. She probably got that stuff from that group
Right.
that she chased after, when she left.
Mm-hmm.
I want that story. I want to know what happened to her. So maybe we'll get two sets of stories, like what happened to Rick and what happened to her. Like I
Is
hope they don't not share that half of it.
right. From what I have seen, it seems like they are flipping back and forth and telling her story as she journeys towards him, and
Mhm.
his journey as he's, you know, moving forward. I guess.
Mhm.
Um, because we know that we don't know how much time had passed between him throwing his uh, stuff in the boat and that boat getting down to where Michonne found it.
Right.
It could have been a week. It could have
Mhm.
been 6 years. We don't know. You know,
Right. Yeah.
it's been a while.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, my guess is that the starting point is going to be them taking him back for Rick,
Mhm.
and her starting point is going to be her galloping off, you know, um, on the plains like she was, and
Mhm.
going forward.
Mhm. Well, I know one thing. I feel like, and I know in the early days of their relationship, I kind of wasn't really loving it. I'm like, I don't know about this relationship, but it grew on me over time, right?
Yeah,
Over time, the two of them, I got it. I'm like, they're cute. So now I'm kind of looking forward to that chemistry again. Can they
I am
do it?
too.
I think so.
I think so. I mean, they've been really pushing the storylines, you know, of, you know, they've been apart from each other for so long, and they were,
Hmm.
can they find that spark again? Can they find each other again? Can they, oh, shut up, it's not a soap opera. Let's just do this. Sorry.
I mean, honestly, this is going to be so much more about them than it is about like the world, you know?
Right,
Like we're going to get like obviously the external forces that kept him away, but it's going to be think the core focus is about them finding each other and what
right.
happens when they come together.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that they don't get together until mid-season. I wouldn't hate that. But I
No, me
will say that
neither.
I really hope it's not one of those things that they don't find each other until like the last episode.
Oh, that would
That would
suck.
upset me.
Like, okay, so we need to see the struggle of them, what his past, what happened to him in all those years, and her journey to him. We need to
Right.
see those. And then we need some time to see them together. We need at least a couple of episodes. They need to have a reunion that's
Mm-hmm.
believable. We need to see them like be in love again.
And we
And
can
we
and
need
they
to see them escape.
right
Whatever. Yeah.
and we can see, you know, while they're getting to see know each other in the now, you know, they can still do flashbacks.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a, you know, off the table thing. So, you
I
know,
want
we
to see
can.
them fight together, like fight against others together.
Oh
We need
yeah,
all of that stuff. We need it all.
we need the whole thing.
Yeah, hell, I even want to see them walking back to where the kids are. I mean, we don't
Yeah,
have to see them. We don't have to see the reunion, but we could see them walking to the gates or something. I don't know. There's so much. There's so much they can do, but I feel like I do want it in one season.
yeah,
I want it all, start to finish, the full storyboard in one season. Like, I don't know how that. I can't imagine either one of these actors wanting to just do this long term. They were both tired of it.
right. Well, and you know, they planned initially 3 movies.
Hmm.
Well, these 6 episodes can cover the same amount that those 3 movies would.
Absolutely. That's 6 hours of content, basically, give or
Exactly.
take. Maybe 5.5 hours, 5 hours of content after you take out the commercials and stuff.
Right.
I don't know. That's a lot of time. You can do a lot. Um,
Exactly. You know, if you can
yeah.
do it in 3 movies, you can do it in 6 episodes.
Yeah, you can. And it can feel full and complete. And of course, we're going to see some other characters. I saw some boards. I didn't screenshot them, but I saw some of the other characters they have.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the woman who plays Jadis, obviously.
Obviously.
We might even find out what happened to her, what her role is in all of this.
Bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple other people that I recognize their faces,
Was there
actors.
any mention of any of the characters from the World Beyond going to be to being in this
I don't I don't think so.
outside of Jadis?
I don't think so. I'm gonna look up
Okay.
the cast right quick. Let's see.
Because I mean, it wouldn't be outlandish for
Okay,
some of them to show
so
up.
we have so far Leslie Ann Brandt. She is the woman who was the sidekick of Lucifer.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I loved her.
Yeah. And Terry O'Quinn, who was like the main guy in Lost, and he was in a couple other things. His face is very recognizable.
Okay.
I wouldn't have known his name if I didn't look at his face. So far, these are the only people besides Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera and Polly McIntosh that I can see on the IMDb
Okay,
page.
that's fine. I was just
So,
I didn't. I mean, I don't expect them to tie in World Beyond,
mhm.
but I could also see them using this as a way to tie up some loose ends from there too,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
their stories, are kind of entwined a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it wouldn't shock me. Like,
Wouldn't shock me. Yeah.
if the dad showed up on this show, as being forced to work in one of the labs, wouldn't shock me.
Honestly, that would be such a great tie-in, right? With like little to no effort,
Yeah,
but would they do it?
yeah, I know. I mean, like I said, if they had something like that, it wouldn't shock or surprise me in the least.
Mhm. Interesting. But we have to wait till February for that,
Yes.
which is not far. It's not far away. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, because at this point, we'll basically finish up most the rest of the year um, with Fear.
Mhm.
Then we get a short Christmas break, essentially, and then we're back at it in February. And then I think everything's just kind of running consecutive after that, isn't it?
I think so. I think there may be another running gap, but not a long one, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
couple months.
Yeah.
Not too bad, I don't think. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fun 2024 for the TWD universe. I think it's going to be good.
I do too. I'm
Yeah, I'm
looking
looking
forward
forward
to
to
it.
it because it might be over a year before we see another Daryl Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything that indicates when season two will be out, but it wouldn't shock me. I mean, if they hustled, right? If they hustled and got it done, maybe we could see it in the fall, but I highly doubt it. I doubt it. I think it's going to be like a winter 25 release, like February.
Mm. Okay.
That's just my guess. Unless they've been working really hard cuz with the writer strike, no
Right.
one was
Everything's
working on
kind of
it.
delayed, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. Everyone's schedules are screwed up at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to say and no one said anything about a release date for season 2. So it wouldn't shock me entirely if it's honest to God like February of 25.
Right. And that'd be
Um
okay. I mean, because
yeah.
again, we've got a lot of content going forward. So,
Mhm.
because we'll get our, half season of Fear. We'll roll into, or are they doing the whole season? Or are they doing a half season of Fear?
No, this is 8B. So we've already seen
Oh, that's
8.
right. Okay,
Yeah,
so we
so
got
we're
the end
only
of
getting
this.
6 episodes, I think, or
That's
8,
right.
6
You're
or
right. You're
8.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was
So,
thinking. I was like, yeah, this is a new. Never mind.
mhm.
And it's been a while.
Okay.
There's been a lot
Okay.
going on.
So Karina just corrected me on season 2 of Gerald Dixon. They got a waiver to keep filming. So they've been filming season 2. So maybe we will see it in 24
Okay,
fall next year.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, so let's see. Fear, we are getting one, two, three, four. Okay, so 6 episodes. That's what I just counted in my
Okay,
little app here. One, two, three. Yeah, 6 more episodes.
all right. So
So
that'll
yeah.
yeah. So that'll put us into November, and then we'll have December and January off. Be back in February, and then we just start up the whatever comes up next.
Yeah, whatever comes up. I'm sure they got something else in the works they haven't like shared yet. They don't share all. So
Right.
maybe we'll get more tales or something. Tales of the Walking
Yeah.
Dead or
Tales. That
something.
honestly, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
I've been kind of waiting for them to announce they're going to do another one like
Hmm.
over the summer or something.
I know. I would love that. So yeah, yay! We covered all the updates, I think.
Yep, I think we got it covered. I think
Okay.
we're ready to roll into Fear the Walking Dead now.
I'm ready. And you know what? It was funny because before I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I'm not that excited for the end. But now I am. I feel like they've shown me enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I want to see what happens.
That's not his name. Sorry.
I know. Victor is so cool with it. He will carry this to the end. It will take
Oh,
a lot for them to believe that he's lying to them.
Yeah, I know. He's just, he's such a consummate liar.
He
So
is.
good at
He is
it.
good at it. It is crazy, but I don't know. Maybe seeing her again will change him a little more again. I don't know. We'll
Well,
see. All right, I think we're done today. What do you think, Lisa?
I think we are done, dear.
Okay, yay. This has been a great conversation. Thanks for listening to the entire episode. Please like and share, and of course, subscribe before you go. And we'll see you again next week when we come back with season 8B of Fear the Walking Dead. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye bye.